Today, we have a very special guest here. We have Samah Abukhodeir. She is the founder and managing partner of the Florida Probate and Family Law firm here in Miami, Florida. Since launching the firm in 2018, Samah has built more than a successful legal practice. She has built a growing, system-driven business with multiple departments, a strong team, and expanding presence across the state of Florida. She's an attorney, an entrepreneur, a professor, and a leader who understands that scaling a firm takes more than legal talent. It takes vision, discipline, culture, accountability, and a willingness to take and make difficult decisions. Today, we're getting into the real story behind the growth, building the team, expanding location, increasing revenue, protecting culture, and learning what it truly takes to lead a business to the next level. Samah, welcome. We're so happy to have you here today with Miami Community Newspaper. And I just want to know, tell me a little bit about you, who you are, and about your firm.
Thank you for having me, first of all. A little bit about myself. This is always a funny question talking about myself. I was born and raised in Lake Wales, Florida, which no one ever knows where that is. It's a small town in between Orlando and Tampa. I was raised there and then left when I was 17 to go to FSU on a full ride. And then I was pre-med and then realized that in my junior or senior year of college, I can't remember now, that I did not want to go through the long years of medical school. So I switched I switched career path, took the LSAT, took the GRE, ended up at FIU Law, met my husband there.
Oh,
yes.
Jose, right?
Yes, Jose. And then worked at a few firms, worked at 3 firms, practiced for 5 years, and then was offered partnership at the last firm I was at. We might get into that later. However, my husband encouraged me to start the firm, and here we are today, almost 8 years later, with the Florida Probate and Family Law firm.
Wonderful, wonderful. Today we had lunch,
Yes.
and you shared a great little nugget that you learned from a mastermind. Tell me, what is that little nugget? Can you share that with us?
Sure. So for people who don't know what masterminds are, because I didn't know what it was prior to, I would say like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it's like these small networking groups that we travel to every 3 to 4 months, so every quarter usually. And we meet with other business owners, not necessarily law firm owners, but the majority are. And we come with one issue that we're dealing with in the business. We present it to the group. We go around the table and everyone gives their opinions on how to fix this or if they've dealt with it before. And it just helps because you get perspectives from people who don't practice in the same area that you do, that don't run their businesses the same way that you do. And it just gives you like a fresh perspective. And the nugget that I learned about 4 years ago was the coach or the facilitator of this mastermind told my husband and I, because we have different firms, but we practice in the same areas, that we should merge firms. And it is the opposite advice that you would usually see because everyone's like, why would you want to practice with your husband?
Right.
You're a divorce attorney. You're a death attorney. Like, you might kill each other or you might end up divorced, God forbid. So we had not taken it seriously until we heard that from him. And he's a very successful business owner. So for him to tell us to do that, we did take it into consideration. And then before our son was born, we merged firms and we're still merging. My husband still has his firm. It's called the Florida Estate Planning Firm. He practices probate, guardianship, and estate planning. My firm is about 50% family law and then 50% probate, guardianship, and estate planning. So it made sense.
Yeah. And that just in case bucket, of course,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So there is a lot of speculation. And as you know, I work with a lot of attorneys and I speak with a lot of attorneys. And I'm actually quite surprised that there's actually a lot of partnerships, right? So there is equity partnerships with obviously not in a relationship, but then there's others who are married and those seem to be very successful. I know a handful of them And I just want to know, what is that secret sauce? What is that secret thing that keeps you guys going? How do you guys divide between being at home and also going into the office together?
So it's a great question because to complicate matters further, we have a 3-year-old son, a 2-year-old daughter, and then I'm 8 months pregnant with our next son.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
so I think the beauty of owning your own firm and running your own firm is that you're able to choose which path you want to take, whether you want to run the business or you want to continue practicing law. My husband and I both decided that we wanted to do the management side and the running of the business side because with small children, it's very hard to be called into court last minute.
Right.
It's very hard to have client meetings. It's possible. It's totally possible, but it was just not our passion, right? Maybe we'll go back to it one day and we still practice. We still have a few cases that we work on. Most likely, I mean, more likely the pro bono cases that we take on ourselves,
Mm,
because our firm is over 10% pro bono work that we do, which is very important to our culture and our core values.
love
Um,
it.
but I don't know that there is secret sauce. I would say that we try to do date night every single week, once a
Mm,
week. Um, we try not to talk about work 24/7, although we love talking to each
yeah.
other about it,
Okay.
which like it depends on your
Right.
relationship, right?
Right.
I just think that it's important to communicate. That
Mm,
that is probably the secret sauce, communicating always when you're happy and when you're sad or when you're aggravated, upset. But if you're open about communication, I think that's what keeps the relationship strong.
right. And some of the things that I've learned is to make sure we have same values within our partnerships. And this also goes with working with your equity partners as well, making sure that both of you have values, and making sure that the communication is always there. Date nights are important. This also goes with equity partners as well. So date nights means business
Business
partnership,
meetings.
business
Yeah,
meetings, business partnership meetings. And it is okay to, just like in any relationship, to butt heads or not agree on everything, but having that fine balance between, okay, I'm going to take care of the managing, I'm going to continue practicing, or we're both going to manage and we're going to lead a really great team.
correct. And also you just made me remember something else. Making sure that you're not overlapping on all management duties,
Absolutely.
or even if you're litigating all litigation files, but knowing a clear path from the very beginning of who's going to be in charge of what areas of the business. For example, I'm in charge of the finance department. My husband is very smart on the marketing side,
Mm,
so he helps a lot with the
that's huge.
marketing. He also helps, he's the head of the sales department. So we have different areas that we're stronger at, and that's where we lead.
Right, right. Well, one of the ways that I met you was through a networking group called Miss Esquire, and then we've also done a one-to-one together. I was actually blown away on the size of your firm, but what also really intrigued me, which was one of the lunches that we had together, is the culture that you have behind the scenes that you provide to your team members. I thought it was absolutely incredible because you don't hear this type of level of culture that you have created. And I'm sure I've only seen a small little glimpse of it that you have created within your team because, and I feel like this is such a big question or a big comment because it is so difficult to hire good people right now. And creating a culture that impacts not only your team members, but also provides great community as well is the way that you're going to continue to attract them as well. So I know you built this from the ground up. This was not given to you between you and your husband. You guys did this together. Can you please explain to us, like, what are like some great key takeaways to not only build a great team, but also to leverage that so you can bring in great talent?
So you hit it on the head. Our biggest challenge in the last, I would say, 12 to 18 months has been recruiting talent.
Mm,
And I know that this is like a theme in the legal world right now, but even not in the legal world, because I'm part of a
everything.
group called EO, and it's various different business owners, and everyone's struggling to bring in the right talent. And culture is so important in our firm, especially because if you bring in the wrong person, they can poison the culture.
Mm,
And then your key core team members can then end up leaving as a result.
Right.
I think that our core values are key. So we always start the hiring process with having people take the culture index,
Yep.
which is a personality assessment,
Yeah.
but it's more than that. It helps us understand to their core what they excel at and what they're weak at and their natural traits, right? Somebody could be applying for a litigation position and is completely adverse to litigation, right?
Mm.
Doesn't mean that they won't thrive in that position, but it just means that's not their
Mm-hmm.
passion and they're not going to be happy doing it
Mm-hmm.
on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
So we like to know that. Um, Something else that has also helped us with culture is our benefits.
Oh.
So at the firms that I was working at before, benefits was not huge. There were some benefits that were offered, but they were, like the minimum. So I always said, not that I knew that I was going to start a business, but I always said that if I ever started a business, I wanted to make sure that we were able to offer government level benefits. And I held true to that.
Hey, there you
So
go.
we offer government level benefits. Um, if we reach goal every year, we take our firm on an international firm retreat with their families.
That's what I heard about when we did the lunch. I was like, "What? You went? I think you guys went to Mexico or
We
something,
just
right?"
came back from Mexico in
Yeah.
April. Um, I had a team member, which like it, I don't say this to brag, but I just didn't I didn't expect this. But I remember them saying, this is the first time I've ever taken a plane.
Oh goodness.
And I was
Yeah.
it was just such a shocker to me because I wasn't expecting that. Not that I expect everyone to travel, right? But I just didn't expect that. And it was like a really good moment. And then it made me understand why we do the things that we do. So, anyways, we do international firm retreat. We try to do quarterly team building exercises. And these are the things I'm pointing out that are not the norm, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, because government level, they're not doing international firm
Mm-hmm.
retreat, but we do things on top of that. We try to do for our quarterly team building days, we try to do dinners, happy hours, the movies, bowling. Where I'm taking my highest performing team members to the spa this month.
Oh, look at
So
that.
we're doing
Oh yeah.
this is the first time we're doing that, but I'm taking them to the spa, men and women. Um what else do we do? We pay for all CLEs, we pay for all conferences. If they want to go back to school, we pay a portion of their
I
schooling.
love it.
So, and I'm not saying these things to say we're the best out there, right? I'm saying this because it encourages people to be positive at work. It encourages people to reach their goals at work, and it just makes it a happier environment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you think about the regular office job, the things and the perks that you give is absolutely incredible. So thank you as a community here in Miami-Dade County.
Thanks.
I think it's actually very incredible of the things that you provide to them.
Thank you.
Um, so we talked as a marketing consultant myself, when I work with law firm owners, when I look at hiring team members or replacing team members, and we put an ad out there on these particular platforms, it is difficult to find the right team members now, not only because challenges with AI, things that happen with COVID, because people now want to work from home.
That's one of our benefits.
One of your benefits, working from home.
Yes.
Yes. Um, and honestly, just finding the right talent, those people that are qualified. What is your recommendation to a law firm owner who's looking into hiring into your firm? Like what advice into their own firm, what advice would you give to them so that they can really find the right talent?
So it's a really hard time now, like I've said before, but excuse me, what we've learned is that you need to spread your web as far as possible to find the right people. So, um, we have ads out on Wise Hire, Indeed. I'm doing things a little bit differently. So all the networking groups like Miss Esquire, for
Mhm.
example, every time I give a presentation about growth, I talk about the positions we're hiring for. We offer we offer a finder's fee to
Yeah.
anyone who finds us or refers us the
Yeah.
right team member and they end up staying at least 3 to 6 months.
Mhm.
So we offer $5,000 finder's fee, which I don't think most firms or companies are
Nope.
doing. What else are we doing? Hold on, let me
Yeah,
think for a
birds of a
second.
feather flock together. So if they know somebody,
We
I'm
offer our
sure
team
yeah,
members
absolutely.
because also our team members are people they're going to hang out with people that we want on our team,
Right.
right? So we offer the same thing to our team members. We've posted on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it, we've posted. Um, and I'm happy to say, with everything that we're doing, we have found the right people.
Good. Good.
I think that if you would have asked me this 2 years ago, 18 months ago, we had a waiting list of people who were waiting to get to fill a position on our team.
Mm,
In all honesty, it's flipped. And I think that the reason that we've had to go out and find people is because I think multiple reasons. But number one, I think people are scared to make a change in the economy today,
mm,
right? Like you don't know, you're going to leave a for sure paycheck and then not know the company you're going to.
right.
Um, I think that the years of experience, because we're not hiring newbies usually, the years of experience that we're looking for, people are going out on their own, which
Mm,
I fully like support. I absolutely support that. I've told my own team members, if you ever want to start your own firm, I'm happy to support you. You know, talk to me. I will help you. I did it myself. I'm not going to knock you for doing what I did myself, you know? Um, but I think we've had to change our strategy. And I think that if you're a business owner right now looking for talent, you got to think outside the box.
absolutely. I mean, right now, what you have 55 team members on your team?
Something like that.
Something like
I
that?
think close to 60 this week.
Oh my goodness. So definitely hiring, definitely growing. Uh, Tell us, like, I know I've seen your growth. So for the last couple of years, I've seen what you have been doing. I've been very intrigued and curious, of course. So tell us, like, how has that growth been for you? Has it been natural? Has it been out of requirement and need? Or is it just because you're pushing into expansion and you want to really get into these different areas in the state of Florida to scale your firm and really deliver great services to your clients?
So, okay. So, the reason that we decided to expand is because our marketing is killing it, number one. Um, I don't think that when I started this company almost 8 years ago, that we would realize the amount of leads that we're receiving, which is a blessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, our vision and our values are to help families like myself and my husband, right? I'm Palestinian American. My husband is Puerto Rican, Cuban American. And so we want to help communities and cultures that are similar to our own, but we're very diverse.
Right.
Our firm speaks, I think, like 7 different languages, 8 different languages. We have attorneys of all different backgrounds. And I mention this because I'm a Section 8 housing food stamp baby.
Mm,
So my parents came to this country like a lot of immigrants with very little. And so when I imagined opening this firm, I want to be able to help families that were like my family growing up,
right.
right? Um, I want to have the freedom to help the people that I want, and I don't want people to feel like there aren't attorneys that help them because they don't speak the language, they don't understand the culture, they don't understand the religion. So, um, I think that in what we've established through our growth, we've been able to find people of diverse backgrounds to be able to help those types of families and make sure that those families understand that they're not going to be judged and they can openly speak about their cases. So that was part of the growth plan.
Okay.
The other part, which you asked, was this natural, organic, planned for? It's a mix, right? Again, I never thought we would be at almost 60 team members. We might already be at 60 team members. I'm embarrassed that I don't know. Um, with the marketing the way that it's been, we've had to find talent to keep up with the workload. Um, I also think that we've expanding into 9 different offices throughout the state of Florida. We've found different areas in the state that need family and probate law firms.
Mm,
So, for example, we have an office in Port Charlotte. So our SEO company did some market research and told us there are other firms that practice in your area, but they don't have an online presence.
Yeah.
So since we do have a strong online presence, it only took us 3 months to pop up to the top 3 in Google. So that's one of our busiest offices. Same with Tampa. Tampa is a huge area, huge metropolitan area, with diverse backgrounds. However, in the areas that we practice and the place that we decided to open up our office, it didn't take us long to find leads.
Mm.
So it's like a a multi-step approach,
Yeah.
right? But the marketing helped us realize that we have to hire more
Right.
people and then find the right talent.
Right. So we talked about marketing, and I'm sure you know how important marketing is. And I wish Jose was here to talk about it. But the glimpses that you have when it comes to marketing and the importance of marketing, what are the things that you guys have implemented that really helped you really rank up to that top 3 position?
Finding the right SEO company is the number one answer to this question.
Mm-hmm.
When you are working with the right search engine optimization company, and there's a ton out there, it's also expensive. So you have to make sure that you're working with the right company, because they're able to find those opportunities, meaning they're able to help you with your GMB, your Google My Business page. They're able to tell you how many reviews you need. They're able to take pictures and videos of your office that then rank on Google. They're able to tell you different backlink opportunities. These are all things that I didn't understand the
Yeah.
terminology 3 years ago, but through like learning and researching, if you're working with the right vendors in the marketing department, whether it be SEO, which is my number one, social media management, your LSAs, your Google local service ads, your Google pay-per-click, I'm trying to think of all my vendors, community events, whatever vendors you're working with, you need to know your ROI. You need to understand where you need to put more money, take money from, and then based on that is how you're going to be ranking in the top 3. SEO also has local and organic SEO.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 2-step
Right.
approach. Local is a lot faster than ranking on organic. So you have to find somebody who's going to be able to help you in both
Mm-hmm.
areas. But if your goal is to get online presence and online leads, you got to find the right company to work with.
Absolutely. And there are so many different things when it comes to marketing. What I find when I strategize with my clients is they don't necessarily want to start with SEO because it's like planting a little tree or a little plant, watering it for months and watching the thing grow very slowly. And then all of a sudden, it starts shooting out and it's just like this big bamboo tree. We call it the snowball effect. And firms, they want to put the money in ads in the very beginning. However, that's the opposite thing that you should do. You should really focus on your branding, which I know you're very good at branding. Focusing on your branding, focusing on your SEO, that slow churn that's going to give you the biggest impact and is going to bring you leads away from your competitors. Because once you start ranking on SEO, it's going to be really difficult for those guys to catch up to you. Because
Correct.
you can turn on an ad, you can put in $5,000, you can put in $500,000 on an ad. But once you turn it off, they're just off. But your SEO is going to pay you in dividends
Forever.
forever.
And you're absolutely right. So another question that I always get is what would you do differently if you were starting your firm today?
Mm.
When I started my firm almost 8 years ago, I didn't have the money to invest in marketing.
Mm.
I didn't have the money to invest in SEO, right?
Mhm.
I want to say like 4 years ago or 5 years ago is when we decided to like actively put money into it. And then it hit 2 or 3 years later. Like that's how long it took.
Mhm.
I don't count the beginning because it was such a little budget, right? I didn't have very much. But the quicker you are able to invest in marketing, the quicker you're going to be able to see those leads come in.
Right.
But you also have to diversify.
Yes, of course.
So everything shouldn't be online, right? So we were talking about Miss Esquire. My husband and I are part of probably 25 different networking organizations plus, I don't even know. You have to put your face out there. You need to be on social media. at a certain point, not in the beginning. But if you are also doing the face-to-face marketing, the coffees, the lunches, the networking groups, the presentations, the community events, you will start to be top of mind, and then you can diversify your leads.
Right. Right. And all those little things that you're doing, especially somebody starting from the very beginning, what made you stick on for 2, 3 years? Because there's sometimes, most of the time, people are like, oh, it's been 6 months, I haven't received anything. And I urge them, you got to stick to this for the long game, because if not, like everything that you've built up for is now almost gone.
Correct.
Because now your competitors are going to start catching up to you. There is a strategy, and there is, I call it building little Lego blocks. You start implementing SEO. We work on branding. We work on your social media. Then we start leveraging other things. But it's all about those little building blocks that you put in together. What made you stick around for 2, 3 years until you started seeing this great momentum shift in your favor?
I think I trusted the people that were giving me advice. And it's really hard to trust people, no offense, in marketing.
It's true.
I'm not talking about you, but I'm just saying there's so many people, and just like us, there's so many people doing divorce and death, right? Like
Right.
probate and family law. But the people I was working with, I just felt like they were telling me the truth, which is not, I mean, you could feel anything, right? Um, but I think that the people I was working with were telling me, like, you're going to start seeing results in 4 months, or you're going to start seeing results in 9 months. And true to their word, that's when we started to see an uptick. So I think that through what they were doing and then what I was seeing as a result, I realized, okay, I need to play the long game. But you're absolutely right. I'm impatient. I want results now.
Right.
If I'm going to put thousands of dollars into something, I better see a huge return, right? And it's thousands of dollars that could have gone to an employee, right? I could have hired somebody else to help in a different department that we're struggling in. But you're not going to be able to hire that employee until you have the marketing that's bringing in the leads. So it's like
Catch-22.
Yeah. So it's like, where do I spend money?
Yeah.
But in all honesty, you got to bring in the leads before you can start hiring people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are different strategies for different law firms depending on
The area of
where
law.
in the area of law, where they're at, the size of
Oh,
the
yeah.
firm as well.
Yeah.
Let's say you are working with you have 60 team members by now. But let's say you're working with somebody or any business owner, because this can truly apply to any business owner. So if you can give the advice to a small business owner, what advice would you give them when it comes to what they should start off with when it comes to marketing their business?
Sure. So 2 areas. One, if you don't have a budget, and one, if you have a budget. If you don't have a budget, what you do is you start reaching out to your network of people, the people you know and the people you don't know. This is what I did. When I started my business, I don't know if it was $20,000 or $25,000 in savings. I never had to touch it. Thank you. Thank you, God. But I knew that I didn't have the budget to put into SEO. So I started reaching out to every attorney, every accountant, every business owner, every realtor, you name it. I reached out to them and I was like, can I take you to coffee? Can I take you to lunch? So I used a very small budget, because coffee's, I mean, I was going to say less than $5.
And
Not anymore. Not anymore. But 8 years ago it was. Less than $10, let's say, right? If you do 10 of those a week, you're bound to bring in at least one case, at least 2 cases from these people. You then intentionally ask your friends that are sending you cases, can you connect me with somebody who you think would be a good referral source to me? And I was very lucky. I'm not from this community. South Florida is a very hard community to get into. However, I had a good group of people after 5 years of practicing that were willing to introduce me to other people. So I use that as my marketing approach in the very beginning, depending on what your budget is, right? If you are starting a business, you have a marketing budget, I would tell you pour your money into SEO, because you will start seeing results in about 6 to 9 months, depending on your vendor and depending on how much money you're putting in. Now, people will ask, what's a good budget to put into SEO? Depending on the company you're working with, and I keep saying that because that is key, you're looking at anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a month to start seeing results in 6 to 9 months. Again, I'm going to be completely honest. When I started, my budget was like $1,500 a month because at that, I was still like, that's still very expensive. But if I could go back in time and if I had the money, I would have done that, because if I would have done that almost 8 years ago, we would probably be triple the size we are today.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So what are things that you look for when it comes to working with a SEO vendor? Since I know this is like your passion, right? So what are the red flags? What are the things that you look for? If you can give advice to anybody watching this and listening to this, what would that be?
I would interview at least 3 different vendors in whatever area, whether it's SEO, social media, um, LSAs, any of those. I would first interview 3 different vendors. I would see what their approaches are, right? I would ask what the budget is, and I would ask them how much of that budget is going towards backlinks, how much of that budget is going towards blogs, how much of that budget is your profit, and see if they're open to talking about that, because most are not, but some will, right? Some will tell you 30% of it is going to my business because I have my staff, my team that I have to feed, and they're the ones that are writing the blogs, or they're the ones that are finding the backlink opportunities. And from a business perspective, I can understand that, right? You have to. And I think another question I would ask them is, if I were to invest 1,500 versus 5,000, if I'm investing 1,500, how quickly am I going to rank in local and organic? And if I'm investing 5,000, how quickly? And see what their answers are. If their answers are the same or very similar, you don't go with that vendor, because that's just not the way it is. You also ask them, what results, what reporting are you giving me on a 30-day basis? Every 30 days, what reporting are you showing me? What numbers are you showing me? What's the ROI? You ask their team structure. How many people are you working with? Do you have a manager over your account? Somebody that you can reach out to? Do you have somebody, if a bad review comes in, that can flag and talk to Google? There's a ton of questions I would ask, but I would start with those.
Okay. That's good. So we talked about the SEO side of things, and thank you so much for sharing all of that. You've grown in such a great way, and right now you have 9 offices. When did you get to a point where you're like, okay, we are here and I'm making phone calls, I'm touching into my network. When is that tipping point where you're like, oh, I need to hire? Oh, I really need to up my SEO game. Oh, I need to open up another office. When was that tipping point for you and Jose? Did you guys merge before opening the different offices, or how did things really work out for you guys?
I think it was before the majority of our 9 offices were open that we merged. And the answer to your question is, we have a capacity calculator.
Oh, good. Yes,
So
you should.
not most businesses don't have this, but through business coaching, they're the ones that taught us, because what was happening before was our staff, our team members were getting to a point where they were overloaded, and that's when we would start looking. That's too late. Like, what was I doing? What was I thinking?
Poor things.
But we also have a team which loves to have a full caseload, meaning they love having the work because then they know job security, right? But from a business perspective, that's not financially sound, because if you have people that are overloaded, you're missing out on money. So we created this capacity calculator, which tells me more or less what percentage of capacity each billing team member is at. So for example, if an attorney can only handle 40 cases at a time, if they're at 30 cases, I'm starting to look for a new attorney to add to the team.
Mm.
Because if they're at 30 within the next month, they're going to be over 40.
Mm-hmm.
So I start to look when they're at about 80% capacity. And that's something that we've implemented in the last, I would say 12 to 18 months. And then that's where we know that's the tipping point. We got to start looking for more people. Another part of your question was, how did we know to start opening up new offices?
Yeah.
So it's part of our marketing strategy. So every year we come up with a business plan, we have marketing plan, and we have a budget. And part of our marketing plan is deciding what areas do we want to expand into. And then once we decide which areas of the state we want to expand into, we then talk to our SEO vendor to do the market research and tell us what pockets in that city would be smart to open up an office in.
Mm.
Then we start searching for an office, and simultaneously, we're looking for an associate in that area.
Okay.
So, for example, we have a Tampa office. We have 4 attorneys in Tampa. We have a Port Charlotte office. We have an attorney in Port Charlotte. We have our Coral Gables office. We have our attorneys in Miami, right? We have our Fort Lauderdale office. We have 3 or 4 attorneys in Broward, right? So we're always looking for areas where we can also find good team members, just in case a client wants to come into the office. We have physical offices for all of our 9 offices. But it's important because I would say 90 to 95% of our hearings are virtual.
That's
and
true. Especially
90
after
to
COVID.
correct. And then 90 to 95% of our clientele do not want to come in, which people are like, what? Like, they don't want to meet you? We talk on the phone, we're on Zoom, we're on Teams. It's very hard for people to take time off of work and then go into the attorney's office to talk about something unpleasant. So it's just easier, and it's been a good approach for us to expand because people are not coming into the office.
Right. Right. So with your expansions across the state of Florida, hiring is key. So when you're getting an office, you're also simultaneously looking for an associate to be in that office. What are your key hires? So what were or current tense? What are your current key hires that you have implemented and are looking for as well in the future?
Attorneys and paralegals. That
Attorneys
has
and
been
paralegals.
attorneys, I would say, is number one. It is very hard to find talent in the legal world. Paralegals, we've lucked out. We've been able to find people that have found us.
Okay.
So that's been great. We also, part of our strategy is finding offshore team members.
Yes, very
So
popular right now.
yeah, so we're able to find attorneys in other countries who help us as paralegals. So that's always super helpful. But I think attorneys is the hardest area that it's slowed down our growth. We're still growing. We grow every year and we're profitable every year. However, it is very hard to find the right attorneys to join your team. We've gotten, I just wrote a LinkedIn article about this. We've had an attorney position, a family litigation attorney position open for about 12 to 18 months. We've had over 400 resumes. Only about like 25 make it through to the CI stage. And then after the CI stage, which is the culture index, you're looking at 90% of them not being the right fit.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's just very difficult. But yes,
It's a numbers game.
correct.
They say that data is the currency of the future. And if you don't use your numbers to make smart decisions, you're not going to thrive not only in hiring, but also in your marketing, also in your financial decision making. And those data points and KPIs are very, very important.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
What are some of the challenges or what are the hard lessons that you have learned over the years operating your firm, being a mother, doing all of it because you have grown this business while also having children?
I've already said it, but I'm going to have 3 under 4 this year, God willing. We say inshallah in Arabic, and I think it's ojalá in Spanish. Um, and then I also teach twice a week at FIU. And I
Mm.
know you mentioned that at the very beginning. So time is money, and time is very important.
Right.
And what I've realized over the last 8 years of owning my own business, not taking a business class ever, like I started this business not knowing what I was doing.
Wow. Growing pains.
Yes. But thankfully it's been one of the best decisions of my life. It's hard to juggle everything when you have small kids. I think when your kids are at a certain age, I don't know yet. I'll learn with time. I think it gets a little bit easier, but when they're small, they require your attention. They require like our son goes to school 3 hours a day, a Montessori program. Um and the drop off and the pickup, and my husband and I not trusting anyone to drive in Miami. Like that's
Yeah.
a very time consuming part of your day, right?
Right.
5 days a week. But the beauty of having your own business is that you're able to pick your calendar and pick your schedule,
Hmm.
right? And this doesn't just apply to my husband and I as owners. This applies to our team members too. So even though our office hours are 9 to 6, we are extremely flexible. Like, if somebody has to go pick up their child, which one of our paralegals
Hmm.
every day is like, "Hey," we use Slack. "Hey, I'm going to pick up my son. I'll be back in an hour." Totally fine. You're an adult, you pick your own schedule. Um, but I think that having a lot of help is the answer to your question in terms of how can I do everything that I'm doing. We have nannies, we have an au pair, we have a housekeeper. These are all things that I'm embarrassed to talk about because I didn't grow up like this.
Oh, don't.
But
I know.
I have to be honest with everyone because it wouldn't be possible if I didn't have people
Right.
helping us. Um, and they're part of our families. Don't take me wrong. Like, these are people that we trust that take care of our children. I work from home 95% of the time. So I'm around my kids. I feel very involved in their lives. This is a choice that I'm intentionally making. It's not for everyone. My husband is also home a lot so that he's part of their lives, but we wouldn't be able to do it without a village of help.
Right. Right. And speaking about the village, I know it was probably difficult for you to get there in many levels. You talked about how you're a Section 8 kid. Um, and I'm sure you have some really impressive backstories as well. Um, how are you supporting your family? Are you supporting them? Have you helped them in any sort of way to, like for example, me, like, helping mom, helping sister out, because I think that that's very important. They're part of our lives, and you and I were both very successful women, and it's just bringing them along with us. So, do you have any stories like that?
I do. So I have a couple of stories. I was also a nanny growing up. So, like,
Hmm.
I understand what the people that are helping us with our childcare.
Hmm.
I also did the same thing growing up, and I saved a lot of money doing it. That's how I paid for my first car. Um, and my parents each worked 3 jobs to make sure that my sisters and I were taken care of. I'm the oldest of 3 girls. So, interestingly enough, the year that I opened up my firm, which was 2018, September of 2018, that's why I keep saying almost 8 years. Um, my father, who has an MD degree from Germany. So he went to medical school in Germany. When he came to the States, because his brothers were here, he didn't have very much money, but he was studying for the boards and then also working. And I was born very quickly after they came to the States. And then my sisters were all a couple years apart. So within 5 years, they had 3 kids under 5, 3 girls. Um, he took the test 2 times, didn't pass by 1 point each time, and then gave up because
Oh,
at that point it was so much money every single time he took the board exams that he was like, I can't keep doing this and working and studying. I'm just not focusing, and I don't have anybody to support me. His brothers were not very supportive. And he didn't have family members that were going to be supportive financially. And my mom was raising us at the time. So fast forward 2018, He tells me, when I tell him, Dad, I was offered partnership, the the offer I was made does not make financial sense. They didn't know about Jose. He was a secret.
Oh.
Um, but I told him I have people encouraging me to start my own firm. And he told me, he goes, I will never forget this. He goes, I need to retire by December because I can no longer stand and my job requires me to stand. So I missed this part of the story. He was a food scientist tech at Florida's Natural
Mhm.
in Lake Wales, which is why we ended up in Lake Wales, because he got that job and he ended up being there 25 plus years, making less than $40,000 a year. So
Mm.
that should tell you something.
Yeah.
Um, when he said that, my heart sank because then I realized if I start this company and for any reason I do not thrive and make it, they're going to need my support. My mom was working as a receptionist at a nursing home for the past 15 years,
Mhm.
right? She was making $10 an hour. Like they can't survive off of $10 an hour.
No.
So I knew that he was basically telling me, I need your backing. I need your financial support if I'm not able to find a part-time job after I retire from this one. He couldn't stand for health reasons.
Goodness.
So I end up starting the firm in September. I'm like, Dad, I got you. Like, this is going to work out. I have faith in
Oh,
God. Like,
yes.
we are going to do great. Right. But in the back of my head, I was like, should I do this? Or should I just accept the partnership and just be, financially okay? Or should I take a risk on myself? My dad is risk averse. My mother is not. So I tell my mom, and she was like, go for it. She's like, you can do this. And what's the worst thing that can happen? That you have to go and get another job if it doesn't work out? So what? So I was like, oh crap, 50-50 here. But anyways, I listened to my mom. I started the firm. I had made more money in the first 12 months than I had ever made as an associate at any other firm. Now, I busted my butt to bring in the
You have to.
business.
It doesn't land on your lap, that's for
No,
sure.
no,
Anybody opening up business, they think, oh, it's going to be easy.
no,
It's going to do this. Oh my gosh.
no, I was working like 18-hour days.
Yeah.
I was networking, answering phones, doing billing, drafting pleadings, going to court. Like, you name it, I was doing it.
That's why they say you wear all the hats.
Correct. And I was happy to do it because I'm like, I'm building something for my own legacy, my own children's legacy, even though I didn't have kids at the time. But I'm happy to report today, my parents are both, as soon as I started the company within the first 12 months, I retired them both. I think my dad retired in December. So like 4 months after I started, and he never got a part-time job. He never needed to, which is a blessing.
Yeah.
And then my mom, I had to force her to retire
Oh.
because she's young. She's in her 50s. And I told her, I was like, Mom, you got to move out of Lake Wales. Like, we got to move you. This is not healthy. We got to bring you closer to the family in Tampa. And I was able to retire them. And yes, I financially support them 100%.
Wow. So Lake Wales, Tampa, how did you end up in Miami?
I had applied to do my GREs and my LSATs, and I got accepted. I think I was waitlisted or accepted at NYU for mental health to do a master's in mental health, which is funny how the world works because my guardianship practice, my estate planning practice has a lot of mental health aspects to it. So that came in handy, and I was a psych major. That was what my bachelor's of science is in. So I also took the LSATs and I was waitlisted at FIU.
Oh, goodness.
I'm not a good test taker. I also took it super late because I didn't know I wanted to go to law school. But then I thought when I got into both, I had to make a decision. And I thought a GRE, a master's in mental health, is going to take you down one path, only mental health. A JD, a Juris Doctorate, you can become a professor, you can go into compliance, you can become a practicing attorney, you can be an entrepreneur. The doors open. The paths are endless with a JD. You don't have to do the traditional path like other areas, right? So that's ultimately why I decided to do my Juris Doctorate, and then why I chose FIU, which at the time I graduated 13 years ago. At the time, um, the school was not highly ranked.
No, I remember when they opened up that program.
It was not highly ranked. I think it had been open years before I started. However, we were not well regarded. It did not have a strong reputation like it does
Mm-hmm.
today. Like, it is an extremely strong law program today. And I go and guest lecture there. I teach in the undergrad. We have a very strong reputation. So I didn't know that going in, but that's what brought me to Miami. And then I met my husband, and then now I'm stuck here.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. So you talk about being a professor at FIU.
Yes.
Okay, how did that start for you? Did they invite you? Did you apply? Did you just want to do this to give back? How did
I
that journey
have
begin?
I have a fear of public speaking.
You do. Look
I
at you
do.
here.
I do.
You're so good. I've seen you
Thanks.
present multiple times
Thank
now.
you. Thank you. So I wanted to figure out a natural way of getting over that fear. And so I don't know why from a young age I was like, I want to be a teacher. Like, I want some aspect of my life to be teaching,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
In all different perspectives,
Yeah.
not just to undergrad or law students, but like also to other entrepreneurs. I give presentations all across the state and the nation, actually, about how to grow your business and how to scale your business. And part of the reason I do it is because I want to give back, because at the time I was growing my business, I hate to say this, but it's the truth. A lot of people were not willing to give their time or to teach or to give me like
Yeah.
nuggets of information, because they were like, oh, it's competition. And it's like your mindset,
That's the wrong mindset to have. There's so much out there.
there's so much business to go
There's
around and
so
around and around and
much.
around.
Yes.
Like I get business from people who practice the same area I do. I send business to people who practice the same area
Absolutely.
because there's so much business, but
Absolutely.
people's mindsets shift and they're not in the right mindset. So I wanted to I wanted to do things a little bit differently. And so if you're listening, if you ever need help, you can always ask me any questions, because I will always answer them, because I didn't have that experience. But anyways, going back, I got it. I started at FIU because of my fear of public speaking. I wanted to get over that. I
Mm.
still have a little bit of fear, but I'm much better at it. You fake it till you make it.
Yeah, there you go.
But I knew one of the professors, and she was a friend. And she asked me, she goes, do you want to teach in my pod in the honors college? And I told her, I was like, I would love to. She's like, okay, I'll get you an interview with the dean. I went to the interview with the dean and I was hired right on the
On the spot.
spot. He's very kind.
Oh.
Um, and so it's been 8 or 9 years of teaching, and it's been one of like the highlights. It's a passion. It's not, there's no money in teaching,
No.
but it's just so nice and refreshing to have a different perspective, and also to teach kids who are 17, 18, 19 years old and see how their brains are molding, how they think, how they've been raised, and like what perspective you can bring that's different. And something that we started doing a couple years ago is taking the kids to prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us that's very different from
Yeah.
what you're doing. So tell us
Yeah.
about that.
So the class that I teach at FIU is about the law, right?
Okay.
But it's a pod. So we're a
Yeah.
pod of 3 professors. There's a professor who teaches English, there's a professor who teaches physics, and then I'm the one who teaches law. So we all like mold our lessons to connect to each other,
Mhm.
right? Even though it sounds crazy, but we've been doing this forever. Um so part of what I teach about Britney Spears guardianship. I teach about Johnny Depp, right? And his
Makes it super
divorce.
interesting. It makes it interesting.
I teach all like the juicy stuff that's all
Yeah.
over the news. I teach about Mormon wives and her DV and her kids being taken away from her, like all the things that are trending, and all the kids love it. They eat it up because they're on TikTok and Instagram. So am I. And so like it's interesting, but years ago, I think during COVID or right before COVID, I was chosen as an Aspen Fellow. And part of this mission they chose about 20 of us from across the nation, is to give back to the community and create a project in the community. And so I met different people in different walks of life in this fellowship. And one of them had served 10 years in prison.
Mm.
And he does prison reform. Marlon, shout out to you. Peterson, if anybody wants to look it up. And so I have the students read his book, and his book talks about what had him serving 10 years in prison, the mistake that he made, what he's learned, and then what he thinks should be done with prison reform. So we also found a project here in Miami that allows us to take students to visit the local prisons in Homestead, women and men's prison, and talk to prison inmates and, you know, see why they're there, see what they're doing in the prisons, see how the prisons run, and just get a different perspective. Because how many people do you know can actually talk to people? The things that we imagine or hear or read or see on TV are completely different from our real life experiences. So every time I've taken my students, they're always like, this was the best experience of my life. I was so scared going in, and I walked out with a new friend. So it's
Oh
just,
my God.
it's interesting.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that multiple times now. It's a lot of regret.
Yeah.
It's highly emotional, and their lives just completely change.
They do, from a mistake that sometimes I don't. So I'm of the mindset that we shouldn't judge people. Number one, it's not our place. Number two, everybody makes mistakes, including ourselves. Some are big mistakes and some are little mistakes. But who are we to judge people for making these mistakes? They can come out and they can change, right? It's a moment in time. I'm not saying everything is forgivable, although my name does mean forgiveness in Arabic. I'm not saying everything's forgivable or forgettable. However, I think that there's some grace in understanding people's stories, listening to them, and then treating them like humans.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. All right. It's time for some rapid fire questions. We're gonna end off there. Okay. So tell me, how is it being a mom and working? Like what's your number one benefit there?
I love that I'm a lot around my kids almost 24/7.
Yeah. Yeah. When are you due?
The end of August.
End of
God willing.
August.
Yes.
What are you gonna do after?
I'm gonna take a little bit of time off, which
Good.
is not like me, but that's the goal.
Good. Good. What is Jose gonna do?
That's a great question.
Jose's her husband.
So I think that he will probably help me because the baby's probably not going to sleep the first 6 weeks, and I plan to breastfeed. That's super important to me. Yeah. But he'll just be there helping me and working and trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you think it's gonna be having 3 kids versus 2? I'm in the 3-kid club. So
I think it's gonna be hard. However, I can already feel his energy.
yeah.
And he's super chill. So I don't think it's gonna be as hard as we think.
Oh, good. Good. What is one thing that you delegated too late?
Oof. In the business or in personal?
Both.
Okay. The first thing that comes to mind is business, hiring an attorney.
Okay.
So delegating the attorney work.
Okay.
I took way too long doing that.
Okay.
And I was scared because of the financial commitment of bringing an attorney on. I didn't think that I could afford it, but joke was on me. And then on the personal side, I think like delegating childcare, because I feel like even though I grew up nannying and traveling with very wealthy families, I always saw it as like something that not all of them, but the majority of them were like, you're beneath me kind of thing. So I didn't want the people that were helping us with our kids to feel that way, which I don't
That's
think
why
that
you
they
call
do.
them family.
Yes. And also, I don't want my kids to feel like we're not raising them.
Right. Right. That's incredible. What's the best investment you've ever made?
In myself.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. Always invest in yourself.
In myself and in believing in forming this law firm.
Yeah. What is one thing you'll never compromise for?
Something I will not compromise is my family time. I think that, and this is something my husband and I struggle with, but we talk about a lot with other families as well. Because I did not grow up with much, but he grew up, completely different lifestyle. um, we want our kids to understand the value of money, and we want to be very involved in their lives. So I
Mhm.
can't compromise that time with them.
Yep. It's too short.
Nope,
I have a
exactly.
12-year-old and I'm already thinking I only have 6 more years with her until she,
Until she's gone for college
yeah,
or gone for whatever she wants to
whatever
do.
she wants to do. So 6 more years we keep them together. So keep them close. And so last question, what are you inspiring towards to next?
That's a great question. I have realized through growing this law firm that I have a passion for entrepreneurship and business. And I never thought I had a passion for business because, again, I never took a business class or even understood. But I've realized that my passion is in business. So I would like to start another business.
I love it.
We just have to figure out what it is.
What it is. Maybe you should do SEO for law firm.
Yes, that's an option that
That's
I'm
an
looking
option.
into.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
but I
Absolutely.
don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So we're gonna wrap up here, but I want for you to remind everybody exactly what you do again, who you serve, and why you serve them, and how they can get in contact with you and your firm.
Absolutely. So, again, I am the founder of the Florida Probate and Family Law Firm. We help families going through the toughest times of their life, death and divorce. Half of our firm is family law, the other half is probate guardianship and estate planning. We help families of diverse cultural, religious backgrounds. So, anything and everything, we're happy to help. We have offices throughout the state of Florida, so we're able to serve anyone in the state of Florida. You can reach us at 305-677-5119. You can also reach us at www.floridaprobateandfamilylaw.com. And you can reach me on social media at Lawyer Lady Boss. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for having me.
Of course. I love your social media account. It's absolutely incredible.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much. My name is Yulianna Cox with Cox Marketing Agency, and we're here with Miami Community Newspaper. Have a great day.